So you might know me as the Kenyan girl who recently relocated to the US on a K1 visa and is navigating life here in the US, learning and unlearning, and sometimes getting culture shocks every 5 minutes. Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. And if you're new here, karibu sana. And in today's video, I'll be giving you the real tea, the reality of living in the US, my thoughts about life in the US, some of the things I think you should know before relocating to the US. I'll also be giving you an insight to my life before relocation and how relocating to the US has rewired my brain chemistry. So now that you're here, let's get into it. So let me take you back to my life before relocation. So before relocating to the US, I was living in Kenya, Africa, in a city called Kisumu. And even when I was young, one of my biggest dreams was to relocate to the US. And my mom used to tell us these stories about these aunties that relocated abroad and their careers. They were in these good careers like nursing, engineering, medicine. And when these aunties landed from abroad in December or any other holidays, I used to admire them. I used to admire how they speak, how they dress, the types of phone they used, how eloquent they were, their English. I really used to admire how they communicate, how they were well respected in the village, and the kind of developments they were doing back at home. I really wanted to be like them so bad. So fast forward, I graduated university with a degree in economics, and I secured my first job just 2 months after graduation in office administration in a dental clinic. And then COVID hit. That was in 2020. Then COVID hit and I lost my job, and I could not secure another formal job after that job. And as much as it is so difficult to secure a job in Kenya when you don't have the right network, looking back, I also feel like I contributed a lot in me not being able to secure a job, because I feel like I didn't do the self-work and self-improvement that could prepare me for the job market. Like, I was educated, I had a degree, but I was educated, but I was not knowledgeable. And these are some of the things I could not have realized if I didn't change my environment by relocating to the US. Relocating to the US has really rewired my brain chemistry, how I think and how I see life in general. And I had to do a lot of self-work and self-improvement. I had to teach myself how to communicate and how to have constructive conversation. And I remember back in Kenya, ignorantly walking into an interview without doing a background check of the company that I was interviewing with, and I was asked the kind of services that the company was providing, and I could not construct words to actually answer to that. And it was so embarrassing because I could not construct words to represent myself in the rooms where I was supposed to represent myself and make the panel realize that I belong. And it was so embarrassing at that point in time because I had a degree, but I could not actually construct words to represent myself. And even after those embarrassing moments, I didn't take time to actually work on myself. I just gave up and lived my life like it's normal. Looking back, I was the problem. I was the one who sabotaged my own growth, because who shows up to an interview without doing a background check? But I also think my environment and the kind of programming that come with particular environments also contributed to that. And I think I could not have realized that if I did not relocate to the US. So I stopped looking for jobs and I gave up in so many of my dreams, but I didn't give up on my American dream. I tried all the possible ways that could get me to the US. So I tried applying to scholarships that could get me to the US. I remember back then in 2023, there was this program called the Kenya Airlift program, and I applied for the program, but I didn't have the finances that could get me through the program. I also remember applying to nursing school, but I could not get admission to nursing school, even though I had the right grades and qualification. So I tried all the possible ways. Also during this time, I opened a small business. I was running a handbag shop, and through my business, I was able to travel across Kenya on several occasions. I also stayed in Mombasa, Nairobi, Kisumu, and back to Nairobi. I changed cities a lot, and during this period of time, I met my then fiancé who filed for my K1 visa, and I was able to relocate to the US. So if you're out there and you have a dream of relocating abroad, you're trying to relocate to the US, Europe, do not give up, and I wish you all the best in your journey. So for me, change has never been a problem, and relocating to the US and starting over at 28 was not a problem either, even though I had high expectation on what life could look like relocating to the US. You know, for those of us who grew up watching American movies, I expected life to look just like in the movies, the American dream, the land of the free, the land of milk and honey. I'm sorry to burst your bubble, but there's nothing free in the US. You're coming to struggle. Mostly, if you're coming to start life alone from scratch, the struggle is so real. I'm not saying that the US is not a great country. It is. But it is not the greatest country like it has been sold to us over the years. And I'm not going to sit here mostly as an immigrant and lie to you that living in the US is like living in heaven. The US is just a country like any other country, but with more opportunities. And the opportunities comes with even bigger challenges. You may think that life in the US is glamorous until you realize that someone that is earning $5,000 to $10,000 a month in the US is just an average American, and anyone that is earning below that is living paycheck to paycheck. And we have even some Americans that are living below the US poverty line because most of them are earning minimum wage. And don't even ask me about the prices of rent, groceries, taxes, tipping culture, and the bills that never stop coming in the mail. Social life and friendship. I don't want to say that there's no social life and friendship in the US because I believe like as an adult you are responsible to create a social life and make some friends, but most people in the US are not able to do that because most people work 3 to 4 jobs. They don't have time to have a social life. Also, having a social life is expensive. You need some money. And also most people are more of independent. There's no community living. But if you're someone that needs a community, I believe that you can create a great community and friendship for yourself. Also, life moves so fast and there's a lot to figure out. Mostly if you relocate as an adult like I did, you need to figure out your career skills. You need to figure out basic skills and soft skills. You also need to learn about the credit system, how to file your tax return, insurance policy. You need to learn about investment if you're someone that is looking forward to invest in the US. You also need to learn about system thinking because there's a lot of stereotypes that surround matters of race, gender, politics, and corporations in the US. You also need to work on yourself, work on your confidence and self-esteem, or get consumed by the system. I also hate that life is more engineered. Many parts of daily life are systematically planned, structured, and optimized. Let me say almost everything is run systematically: transport system, healthcare system, education system, public service, and even family structures. I have a love and hate relationship when it comes to systematic way of living. I hate that life is more predictable, but I love that it reduces effort and increases speed in terms of labor and production. So one of the major advantages why you should relocate to the US is high earning potential. United States of America is one of the highest paying economies in terms of labor in the world. And even someone that is earning minimum wage in the US can pay their bills, save, and support their family back at home if they live within their means. And with the right steps, you can always transition or pivot even into a higher paying career. Another major reason why you should consider relocating to the US is more job opportunities. The US has a wide range of job opportunities across healthcare, transportation, tech, hospitality, construction, and even customer care. And even entry-level jobs often pay more than similar jobs in Kenya. Proximity to wealth. So in the US, you interact daily with people that own businesses, properties, and multiple streams of income. Being around such people really shaped my mindset. It makes wealth feel normal, possible, and achievable. Such proximity to wealth really inspired me. Also, seeing ordinary people such as immigrants, single parents, students, building wealth step by step really inspired my own goals. Also, there's better education opportunities and exposure to global cultures. For example, you can relocate from Kenya to the US. Na at Form 4 ulikuwa na either C minor or C plain or D plus in KCSE. Na unaweza kuja US na ufanye nayo nursing. So I feel like Kenyan education system kills a lot of careers. It buries a lot of careers because it is so strict. So if you're stuck in Kenya because of certain reasons, like you didn't get the required grades for a certain career, you can consider relocating to countries like the US for career growth. As long as you pass your prereqs, you can get into nursing, and also you have to be willing to put in the work. Also, if you want to pivot in career, you went to college and you did a course that is not marketable, you can consider relocating to first world country for career pivot and growth. Also, it is such a privilege to exist in a country with a working system, high quality healthcare, high quality education, good infrastructure, and technology. And also, you don't have to bribe anyone to enjoy public service. So, relocating to the US is a whole journey. It's exciting, overwhelming, confusing, beautiful. It comes with a lot of advantages and disadvantages, and also a lot of challenges. So, if you're planning to relocate to the US, or maybe you are already here, know that you're not in this journey alone. And if this video was helpful, please leave a comment below on your experience. And also, if you have relocation questions, please leave a comment below. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.